call this Tampa City Council meeting to order. If we could have roll call, please.
Vieira. Booth.
Here.
Carlson.
Here.
Dingfelder.
Here.
Petro.
Yes.
Miranda.
Yes.
And Maniscalco.
Yes, here. All right, Mr. Shelby, do you have a statement to read?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, members of Tampa City Council. Martin Shelby, the City Council Attorney. This is the evening of Thursday, October 22nd of 2020, and it is past 5:01 p.m. This virtual meeting of Tampa City Council for land use related matters and quasi-judicial hearings is held in accordance with the declarations and provisions of the Governor's Executive Order 20-69 as amended and extended by EO 20-246 and by the Emergency Rules of Procedure as adopted and amended by the City Council. It's being conducted by video teleconferencing this evening, remote participation, which is referred to by the state of Florida statutes and rules as Communications Media Technology, or CMT. Now, the public and citizens of the city of Tampa are able to watch, listen, and view this meeting on cable TV, Spectrum Channel 640, Frontier Channel 15, and on the internet at www.tampagov.net/live stream. Now, the public has had the opportunity to register and be able to learn how to participate during tonight's hearings, and the instructions for that and other information is available to the public on the City Council's webpage at tampagov.net/city-council. Now, those people who do not have the ability to participate through CMT on their own have the ability to visit the Tampa Convention Center this evening during the public hearings and use the facilities of the Tampa Convention Center to be able to participate remotely. The public comments, as I said, will be heard from people who register during the public hearings. Written material that have been received by the deadline have been distributed to the Tampa City Council and will be made part of the hearing and to be able to be used for City Council for that purposes during the hearings. I believe that covers all matters of City Council's business. At my end, Mr. Chairman, now the meeting back to you.
Thank you very much. We have a very long agenda this evening. My only request is that we try and finish by 8 a.m. tomorrow. I have an 8:30 coffee. So, we have one item that is requesting a continuance, which is item number 9.
I believe items number 9 and 10 are related, Mr. Chairman. Did you wish to take those up now?
Yeah, just to clean up the agenda.
Okay, we could do all the 5 o'clock housekeeping now, and then at 6 o'clock we could do the 6 o'clock housekeeping. I don't know. Ms. Wells is present, and I believe we were discussing before the meeting as to whether the applicants or the petitioners for the review hearings for both of them are present. Ms. Wells, did you want to take this up now?
Thank you, Mr. Shelby. Kate Wells, Chief Assistant City Attorney. It is my understanding that with respect to item number 9, Mr. Murphy, the applicant and property owner, is at the convention center to speak to his request for continuance. I will go ahead and mention, if you don't mind, this is related to item number 10. It's a review hearing filed by the neighbors, Michael and Terry Gonzalez, with respect to the same property. I just spoke with their legal counsel, who advised that he had filed a written request to have item number 10 rescheduled in December because of a misnotice, but he was instructed to not be available for tonight's meeting. So what you have before you is his request for a date. The city's position is, because these review hearings relate to the exact same property and the issues are related, we recommend and request that when item 9 gets continued and item 10 gets rescheduled, that it be for the same night. Thank you.
All right.
And may I inquire, do you have a date based on your knowledge that is acceptable, or let's put it this way, available to both parties, Ms. Wells?
So with respect to item number 9, Mr. Murphy had filed a written request to have this continue to January 28th. It is his hope that by then City Council will be holding in-person meetings without virtual participation, and that is his desire. With respect to item number 10, Michael and Terry Gonzalez have requested that this be rescheduled for December 10th. It's my understanding that the Gonzalezes are not available for January 28th. That is the date that item 9 is looking to. So I've got a couple of options for council to consider. It is my understanding that for the land use evening meeting on January 21st, we only have 4 applications. So I think that is potentially an evening where council has capacity on its agenda. Another date, since the review hearings are targeted for the 7th meeting of the month, then council would be looking at February 25th. So those are 2 dates that I'm aware of that there's capacity on your agenda.
January 21st at 6 p.m. or February 25th at 6 p.m. Those are the 2 options then.
Yes, Mr. Shelby.
Okay, thank you. Who is present at the convention center?
Murphy.
This is Eileen Rosario from Planning and Development, and I have Mr. Murphy here to speak on behalf of this item. And he has been.
All right, before we do, can I get a motion to open items 1 through, because we have 6 o'clock, so since we're on the clock.
1 through 10.
1 through 24.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion from Councilman Moreno with a second from Councilman Goods. Any objection? With no objection by unanimous consent, the hearings are open. Mr. Murphy, I believe you have been sworn. Go ahead, sir.
This is a case that's been going on for quite a while, and I think it would only be beneficial and due process to continue the case all the way to January 21st, or the February 25th dates are fine with me. December is going to be one that I don't know because I may have to have surgery. So if it pleases the council, one of those 2 later dates would be best.
All right. Any suggestion from council? The gentleman has suggested February 25th. Councilman Dingfelder, and I don't know if you're muted or not.
No, I'm up. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
In light of advice from legal counsel, and if it's okay with the 2 petitioners, I'll move to continue both items 9 and 10 to February 25th.
If I can, Mr. Chairman and Councilman Dingfelder, both dates, if I heard correctly from Mr. Murphy, did you have a preference between the 2 dates of January 21st and February 25th? I didn't quite catch that.
I really don't. I mean, the 21st and the 25th both are equally weighted for me.
January or February, no difference then, is what you're saying?
No difference.
Okay, fine, thank you. Now, with regard to then, let's say the February 25th date then, with regard to number 9, it is a motion to continue to February 25th at 6 p.m. On number 10, it is a missed notice, so that requires the motion to be reschedule that one, number 10. And if you need the file numbers, I have those, and that is also to February 25th at 6 p.m. And I'm hearing some noise in the background that's making it very difficult for me to listen.
And mute yourself if you're not speaking. Great.
Okay, so Mr. Shelby, you stated it amazingly well. I will make that my motion and adopt what you said.
We have a motion from Councilman Dingfelder. Do we have a second?
Thank you.
Second from Councilman Goods. Is there any objection?
If we could do a vote on that, please. Just
All right, roll call vote.
Vieira. Goods.
Yes.
Petro.
Yes.
Carlson.
Yes.
Miranda.
Yes.
Dingfelder.
Yes.
And Maniscalco.
Yes.
Motion carried with Vieira being absent.
Thank you. Now, is that clear to the clerk as the distinction between the 2? That doesn't need to be 2 separate motions, does it?
I understand.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
So we're good for the 25th of February.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, that concludes the housekeeping here. Those were the only items.
Mr. Chairman, I think we have more.
Oh, Ms.
For the
Samaniego.
5 o'clock, for the 5 o'clock ones.
All right.
I believe item number 11, is there a question about number 11? Is anybody aware of that?
Mary Samaniego, item number 11, the applicant is requesting their second reading to be heard on November 5th at 9:30 a.m., please.
All right, can we get a motion to that effect to reschedule item number? Yes, Mr. Shelby.
Just for your own awareness, council, November 5th presently has 21 ordinances for second reading scheduled on the morning of November 5th. So this would make number 22, and if anything else is scheduled for November 5th, I would add to that.
Well, the way this day has been going, you know, what's another extra long meeting? If anybody has any objection to that. No?
Well, I believe that's the petitioner's request, November 11th, number 11, November 5th at 9:30 a.m.
All right. Can we get a motion to that effect? Or actually, is there anybody that's in the public at the convention center that wishes to speak on the continuance for item number 11, REZ 20-12?
Eileen Rosario from Planning and Development, and there's no one here to speak on this item. Thank you.
Is there anybody at the convention center?
Pardon me?
Is there anybody at the convention center so far?
No, just Mr. Murphy, and he left.
Great. Yes, Mr. Shelby.
Is the petitioner on line, and does he wish to speak?
I have Mr. Steve Michelini. I'm going to move over as a panelist.
Am I on now?
We hear you, but we can't see you.
Am I on now?
Not yet.
How's that?
Yes, you are. Go ahead, sir. Have you been sworn in?
No, sir.
Please swear the gentleman in.
No, sir.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm you would tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. And the clerk's office did not receive any written comments on this item.
All right, go ahead, sir.
We respectfully request the continuance of this item. As you may recall, this was originally supposed to be heard back in March. And there were no objections then, and no one appeared to have any negative comments. And we received staff recommendation for approval. So hopefully it'll be a quick second reading in November. And we respectfully request that you set that for 9:30 a.m. on November 5th.
All right, any questions of the gentleman? All right, hearing none, may I have a motion to continue this to to November 5th for item number 11? We have a motion for Councilman.
9:30 a.m., part of the motion?
Yes, sir, 9:30 a.m. Councilman Goods with the motion. Do we have a second? Second? Anybody?
Second.
Citro, any objection? Well, let's take a roll call vote
Yes,
on this.
please.
Cedro,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
Maniscalco,
Yes.
Miranda,
Yes.
Vieira, Goods,
Yes.
and Dingfelder.
Yes.
Motion carried with Vieira being absent.
All right, anything else for the 501 public hearings, housekeeping wise?
Barry, we good?
We're fine. We will have housekeeping when 6 o'clock hits.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, having said that, we'll continue with the agenda. Items 1 through 8 are from the Planning Commission. And I was, if there's any objection or no objection, I wanted to go into second readings that we have for items 12 through items 24, just to get those out of the way and keep this agenda moving along. Do you have any objection, any questions, Councilman Dingfelder?
No, I just wanted to comment. I'm still hearing that feedback that Mr. Shelby spoke to, and that if we have a long night, maybe we need to figure it out.
Thank you.
Sounds
Okay.
like it might have gotten better.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there any objection to going forward with the second reads first before we take care of the rest of the agenda?
And
Perfect.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, perhaps what you could do is you can have the reports for all of them and then close them individually and then take the votes separately, and you can open them all up for public hearing if you like, and see how that works. Maybe that'll speed things along, unless there's any objection.
We opened everything for 5:01 p.m. So,
Right.
all right. So we're going to start with item number 12.
Oh, item number 12. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgive me. Okay, I apologize, Mr. Chairman. I misunderstood you, but that's fine. Item number 12.
All right, because the from the planning commission, it's as we've done with the parks and redesignating them. So those move fairly quickly. All right, item number 12.
Sure. Item number 12 is CPA 2011 is second reading on a park that came before you. I don't need to actually show my screen for this, but I will later this evening. This item came before you on September 24th, and it was approved. So we would just request that you find it consistent again. Thank you.
All right. Anybody else? No, we know who the applicant is here. So do we have anybody in the public that wishes to speak on item number 12?
No one has registered to speak on this item.
Okay, anybody at the convention center? Convention center? Is there anybody at the convention center that's here to speak on item number 12? Eileen said that there was nobody there.
Here you go.
This is Eileen from Planning and Development, and there's no one here to speak on this item. Thank you.
All right. Can I get a motion to close item number 12?
moved.
We have a motion to
Second.
close from Councilman Miranda, second from Councilman Goods. Any objection? All right, hearing none by unanimous consent, item number 12 is closed. Councilman Goods, would you mind reading item number 12?
Mr. Chairman, PA-20-11, orders being presented for second reading and adoption. Orders amending the Imagine 2040 Tampa Conservative Plan, future land use element, future land use map for the property generally located at 3724 North 54th Street, otherwise known as Grant Park. For residential -20R20, recreational open space, RS-06, providing for repeal of all ordinance in conflict, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilman Miranda. Roll call vote.
Miranda,
Yes.
Maniscalco,
Yes.
Petro,
Yes.
Goods,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
Dingfelder,
Yes.
and Vieira. Motion carried with Vieira being absent. Second reading and adoption will be held on November 19th at 9:30 a.m.
All right, thank you very much. Next up is item number 13.
Item number 13 is CPA 2013. It would recognize Sunset Park as a park under the Recreation Open Space Future Land Use Element. This came before you on September 24th, and it was voted for approval. So I would just request that you find it consistent again. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, is there anybody in the public that wishes to speak on item number 13? Item number 13.
No one has registered to speak on this item.
Okay, and do we have anybody at the convention center to speak on item number 13?
This is Eileen Rosario from Planning and Development, and there's no one here to speak on this item. Thank you.
All right. Can I get a motion to close item number 13?
So move.
We have a motion to close from Councilman Miranda with a second from Councilman Citro. Is there any objection to the motion? Hearing none, the hearing is closed. Councilmember Dingfelder, would you mind reading item number 13?
Or can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
In regard to file number PA 20-13, I'll move the following ordinance for second reading and adoption. An ordinance amending the Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan, future land use element, future land use map for the property generally located at 4800 West Sunset Boulevard and otherwise known as Sunset Park, from residential 6R6 to recreation open space ROS, providing for repeal of ordinances in conflict, providing for severability, providing an effective date. Thank you.
Second. We have a second from Councilman Miranda. Roll call vote.
Citro, Citro,
Yes.
Viera, Dingfelder,
Yes.
Miranda,
Yes.
Maniscalco,
Yes.
Boots,
Yes.
and Carlson.
Yes.
Motion carried with Viera being absent. Second reading and adoption will be held on November 19th at 9:30 a.m.
Thank you very much. Item number 14.
Item number 14 is Plan Amendment 20-14, which would recognize Oak Lawn Park as a designated park under the recreational open space future land use designation.
Wait, Mr. Shelby.
Madam Clerk, did you announce both 12 and 13 for a second reading and adoption?
Yeah,
I just caught that, yes. I do apologize.
Okay, so just for the purpose, okay. It dawned on me the second time around. I didn't catch it the first time. So these are for second reading and adoption, so they are not going to be set again for the 19th of November. Is that correct? Both 12 and 13?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay.
Go ahead, Ms. Malone.
Sure, I think that concludes my presentation. It is for Oak Lawn Park, and that we would request that you find it consistent again.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody in the public that wishes to speak on item number 14, PA-20-14?
Just for clarity, so nobody goes down there looking for a park, it's Oak Lawn Cemetery, I think. Just teasing you, Jennifer.
This is
I
Eileen,
apologize, Mr. Councilman.
and there's no one here to speak on this item. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can I get a motion to close the public hearing from item number 14? A motion from Councilman Good, second from Councilman Citro. Any objection? Hearing none, by unanimous consent, the hearing is closed. Councilman Carlson, would you mind reading item number 14?
Yes, sir. Marty, do I need to read the whole thing or just the
Yes,
title?
sir. Yes, sir. Ordinance being presented for second reading and adoption.
Okay, I'd like to read file number PA 2014, ordinance being presented for second reading and adoption, ordinance amending the Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan, future land use element, future land use map for the property generally located at 606 East Harrison Street and otherwise known as Oak Lawn Cemetery, from Central Business District CBD to recreational open space ROS, providing for repeal of all ordinances in conflict, providing for severability, providing effective date. Second.
We have a second from Councilman Citro. Roll call vote.
Carlson,
Yes.
Dingfelder,
Yes.
Goods,
Yes.
Miranda,
Yes.
Viera, Maniscalco,
Yes.
and Citro.
Yes.
Motion carried with Viera being absent.
Thank you very much. Item number 15.
Jennifer Malone with your Planning Commission staff. Item number 15 is on Patterson Street Park. This would also recognize it as a park under the Recreation Open Space Future Land Use designation. And I'm available for any questions. Thank you.
Do we have any questions? Is there anybody in the public that wishes to speak on item number 15, PA-20-15?
No one has registered to speak on this item.
This is Eileen Rosario from Planning and Development, and there's no one here to speak on this item. Thank you.
Great. May I have a motion to close item number 15?
Moved.
Motion to close from Councilman Citro. Second from
Second.
Councilman Goods. Any objection? By unanimous consent without any objection, the public hearing is now closed. Councilman Citro, would you mind reading item number 15?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. File number PA-20-15. Ordinance being presented for second reading and adoption. An ordinance amending the Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan, future land use element, future land use map for the property generally located at 1018 East Patterson Street and otherwise known as Patterson Street Park, from residential 10 R10 to recreational open space ROS, providing for repeal of all ordinances in conflict, providing for severability, providing for an effective date.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilman Miranda. Roll call vote.
Petro,
Yes.
Goods,
Yes.
Viera, Maniscalco,
Yes.
Miranda,
Yes.
Dingfelder,
Yes.
and Carlson.
Yes.
Motion carried with Viera being absent.
Thank you very much. Item 16.
Jennifer Malone is your Planning Commission. Item number 16 is Park Circle Park. Would recognize it as recreational open space on the adopted future land use map. I'm available for any questions. Thank you.
Any questions? Is there anybody in the public that wishes to speak on item number 16?
No one has registered to speak on this item.
Is there anybody in the convention center that wishes to speak?
Eileen Rosario from Planning and Development, and there is no one here to speak on this item. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can I get a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
A motion to close from Councilman Miranda, second from Councilman Goods. Any objection? Hearing none, by unanimous consent, the public hearing is closed. Councilmember Miranda, if you would like to please take item number 16.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Move file number PA 20-16, item number 16, ordinance being presented for second reading and adoption. An ordinance amending Image 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan, future land use element, future land use map for the property generally located at 1208 East Park Circle and otherwise known as Citrus Park, from residential 10 R10-10 to recreation open space R-/OS, providing for repeal of all ordinances in conflict, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilmember Goods, and a roll call vote, please.
Dingfelder,
Yes.
Viera, Goods,
Yes.
Maniscalco,
Yes.
Miranda,
Yes.
Petro,
Yes.
and Carlson.
Yes.
Motion carried with Viera being absent.
Thank you very much. Item number 17.
Item 17 is Plan Amendment 20-17. It is Purity Springs Park. The amendment would recognize it as recreational open space. I'm available for any questions.
Do we have any questions? Hearing none, do we have anybody in the public that wishes to speak on item number 17?
No one has registered to speak on this item.
And do we have anybody at the convention center?
Eileen Rosario from Planning and Development, and there is no one here to speak on this item. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can I get a motion to close the public hearing?
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Motion closed from Councilman Miranda, second from Councilman Goods. Is there any objection? Hearing none, by unanimous consent without any objection, the hearing is closed. Councilmember Goods, if you would not mind reading item number 17.
Mr. Chairman, PA 20-17, ordinance being presented for second reading and adoption. An ordinance amending the Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan, future land use element, future land use map for the property generally located at 8126 North River Shore Drive, otherwise known as Purity Springs Park, for public, semi-public, P/SPS, SP, and residential 35, R35, to recreational open space, R-OS, providing a repeal of all ordinance in conflict, providing severability, providing an effective date.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilman Goods with a second from Councilmember Miranda. Is there a roll call vote?
Carlson,
Yes.
Goods,
Yes.
Dingfelder,
Yes.
Miranda,
Yes.
Viera, Petro,
Yes.
and Maniscalco.
Yes.
Motion carried with Viera being absent.
Thank you very much. Item number 18.
Item 18 is Plan Amendment 20-19, which would recognize the property located at 3007 North Havana Avenue as Community Mixed Use 35. And again, I'm available for any questions. Thank you.
we have any questions? Do we have anybody in the public that wishes to speak on item number 18?
No one has registered to speak on this item.
Have anybody at the convention center?
Eileen Rosario, Planning and Development. There's no one here to speak on this item. Thank you.
Move to close.
We have a motion- Okay, we have a motion to close from Councilman Miranda, second from Councilmember Goods. Any objection? Hearing none by unanimous consent, the hearing is now closed. Councilmember Dingfelder, if you would not mind reading item number 18.
Sure, Mr. Chairman, in regard to file number PA 20-19, I'll move the following ordinance for second reading and adoption. An ordinance amending the Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan, future land use element, future land use map for the property located generally at 3007 North Havana Avenue from residential 10R10 to community mixed use 35, CMU 35, providing for appeal of ordinances in conflict, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilman Dingfelder, second from Councilmember Miranda. Roll call vote, please.
Citro,
Yes.
Maniscalco,
Yes.
Boots,
Yes.
Miranda,
Yes.
Viera, Dingfelder,
Yes.
and Carlson.
Yes.
Motion carried with Viera being absent.
Thank you very much. Item number 19.
Mary
Council.
Samaniego. Item number 19 is REZ 2052. It's a second reading. All required changes have been made to the PD. I'm available for any questions.
Do you have any questions? What's that? Oh, sorry. Dingfelder. Do we have the applicant on the line for item number 19?
Yes, Mr. Paris Sullivan needs to unmute himself and turn on his camera.
Okay. And there was nothing from the planning. Correct?
I'm sorry, sir. What was that?
The planning commission does not have to present on this. Oh, okay. Ms. Millar?
So Mary was correct. Thank you.
All right, very good. Mr. Sullivan, if you're on, if you could turn on your camera and unmute yourself so we can see you and hear you for item number 19.
Yes, sir.
We hear you.
Can you see me now?
Not yet.
Okay. The green light's on for my camera. I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know.
Mr. Sullivan, we do see that your video camera is on, however, it's just blacked out. So I'm not sure if you have a cover over your camera or not.
No, ma'am, cover is not over.
Well, Mr. Sullivan, if you have nothing to say, then we can move on if you have no objection to us doing that. Do you have anything you wish to, that you need to add?
No, sir. No, sir. I don't have any objection. You moving on.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. And that settles that. He doesn't have to have his camera on because he hasn't added anything to the record. Correct, Mr. Shelby?
That's
All
exactly right.
Very good. Do we have anybody that is here to speak on item number 19?
No one has registered to speak on this item.
This is Eileen Rosario from Planning and Development, and there's no one here to speak on this item.
All right. We have motion to close from Councilman Miranda. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second from Councilman Citro. Is there any objection? Hearing none, the hearing is closed. I believe we are now at Councilmember Carlson. for item number 19.
Just taking me off mute. Yes, sir. I move file number REZ 20-50, ordinance being presented for second reading and adoption.
I'm sorry, what number was that?
19, item REZ 20-52.
Okay, I'd like to move file number REZ 20-52, ordinance being presented for second reading and adoption, and ordinance rezoning property in the general vicinity of 1904 East Osborne Avenue in the city of Tampa, Florida, and more particularly described in section 1 from zoning district classification RS 50 residential single family to PD plan development, place of religious assembly, providing an effective date.
All right, do we have a second? Second from Councilman Miranda. Roll call vote.
Maniscalco,
Yes.
Citro,
Yes.
Miranda,
Yes.
Vieira, Carlson,
Yes.
Goods,
Yes.
and Dingfelder.
Yes.
Motion carried with Vieira being absent.
Very good. Item number 20.
Mary Samaniego, item number 20 is REZ 2036. It's a second reading. I'm available for any questions.
Do you have any questions? No? Anything from the Planning Commission on this one?
No, sir, since it's second reading, no, sir.
Okay, all right. We have the petitioner here. Have you been sworn in, sir? Mr. McAleenan?
Yes, sir. I have been. You were doing these swearing-ins for each application?
Yes, we do, just to keep the record clean so there's no issues.
Do you swear or affirm you would tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And the clerk did not receive any written comments on this item.
All right, sounds good. Mr. McAleenan, go ahead.
I don't have anything to add. I'm certainly available to answer any questions. I would respectfully request your approval.
Thank you very much. Do we have anybody in the public that wishes to speak on item number 20, REZ 20-36?
No one has registered to speak on this item.
Okay, anybody in the center?
Eileen Rosario from Planning and Development. There's no one here to speak on this item. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My motion to close from
Yes.
Councilman Marina, second from Councilman Goods. Any objection? Hearing none, no objection by unanimous consent. The hearing is now closed. Councilman Citro, would you mind reading item number 20, REZ 20-36?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. File number REZ 20-36, substitute ordinance being presented for second reading and adoption. An ordinance rezoning the property in the general vicinity of 604 Channelside Drive in the city of Tampa, Florida, and more particularly described in section 1 from zoning district classification RS 60 residential single family to RS 50 residential single family, providing for an effective date.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilman Citro, second from Councilman Miranda. Ms. Wells, yes.
Just for the record, the address is 604 Channel Drive and not Channelside Drive.
Did I say Channel Side? I apologize. 604 Channel Drive.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right. We
Thank
have
you,
a
Ms. Wells. Thank you.
Councilman Citro, second from Councilman Miranda. Roll call vote, please.
Miranda,
Yes.
Dingfelder,
Yes.
Booth,
Yes.
Maniscalco,
Yes.
Vieira, Carlson,
Yes.
and Citro.
Yes.
Motion carried with Vieira being absent.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right. Next up is item number 21. Councilmember Goods, I believe you have to abstain from this, correct?
Mr. Chairman, after further review with Mr. Shelby on this item, I will be voting. There is not a conflict after we discussed the issue at length. But we did file a correct form in the beginning just to make sure, but this time we'll be able to vote.
All
If
right.
I can, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, may I just inquire for the purposes of the record with Councilman Goods regarding this, just so that there's no misunderstanding on anybody's part. You and I did have an opportunity to discuss the facts of this in more detail. You do not have, nor does any member of any relative of yours or any company that retains you have any financial interest in this matter whatsoever. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and also that with regard to the item itself, you are able to proceed and be fair and impartial and base your vote upon the evidence at the hearing. Is that at the hearings thus far? Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and on the basis of that, Mr. Goods, as you stated, it is my professional opinion that under Florida statutes, you do not have a conflict and you do have an obligation to vote on this matter. So thank you. And thank you for your cautiousness, and I appreciate you taking the proper actions.
Very good. All right. If we'd like to begin on this item, 21, Ms. Samaniego, go ahead.
Item number 21.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm you would tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. And the clerk's office did not receive any written comments on this item.
Thank you. Mary Samaniego, item number 21 is REZ 2047. It's a second reading. All required changes have been made to the site plan, and I am available for any questions.
Do you have any questions or comments? Seeing none, hearing none. All right, we have the petitioner on the line. And just before we begin, before we close the public hearing, we also have a resolution that needs to be moved. So just an FYI. Go ahead, Mr. Mates.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members. Here to answer any questions. We respectfully ask for approval.
Do you have any questions for the gentleman?
I had a question for staff.
Go ahead, Mr. Dingfelder.
Refresh my memory about the bonus provision agreement.
Mary?
Sorry about that, trying to unmute myself. So the bonus provision agreement, I believe it's just shy of $700,000. That would be the equivalent for the increase in density that was requested by the developer. And the amenities include an easement that will be provided to Tampa Electric Company for the placement of underground utilities, and then some of the payment will go into one of the multimodal projects within the area. I think improvement along Channel Drive for the right-of-way improvements. I don't know, Mr. Mates, if you'd like to add to that.
Councilman Dingfelder, yes, Ms. Wells summarized the BPA. It was negotiated with the city and legal. It's going to provide some areas to underground, some utilities, as well as some easements for some equipment from TECO. And it was worked out with the CRA there and part of that process. So is there anything particular that I can answer for you, Mr. Dingfelder?
No, that just just curious about the details. I appreciate it. And for the record, Mr. Mates and I used to be backstore neighbors. He had a dog named Amos, so it was Amos and Andy. And but anyway, we have no conflict, Mr. Shelby. Thank you.
Very good. Is there anybody in the public that wishes to speak on item number 21, REZ 20-47?
No one has registered to speak on this item.
Eileen Rosario from Planning and Development, and there's no one here to speak on this item. Thank you.
Close.
Thank you, Ms. Wells.
Councilman Miranda, second.
Mr. Chairman, if I can.
You have the resolution.
Well, the question is, normally, and that's why I'm a little bit confused that this shows up, because normally you don't move the resolution until after you move the ordinance,
Correct.
and normally you don't move the ordinance till you close the hearing. So I'm just confused by this, and if that's the way
the ordinance with the hearing still open?
The resolution got to be passed.
I guess you can. I guess that's the safest way to do it, and I'll just look into it as a result. I just want to be clear, because I know when it comes to brownfields and I know when it comes to special assessments, there are certain statutory rules, but I just can't recall, and I don't want to hold up the meeting. So let's just read the ordinance and move the ordinance and vote and then move the resolution, then close the public hearing.
Councilman Miranda, would you like to,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Move item 21, file number 20-47, presented for second reading and adoption, substitute ordinance. An ordinance rezoning property in general vicinity of 1237 East Twig Streets in the city of Tampa, Florida, more particularly described in section 1 from zoning districts classification CD-1 general district to CD-2 center district, residential, multifamily, and retail sales. And move the resolution also, Mr. Chairman.
Two separate motions, please.
I understand the first one is the ordinance number 21, sir.
all right, we have a
Thank you.
Miranda, do we have a second from Councilman Dingfelder? Roll call vote.
Dingfelder,
Yes.
Boots,
Yes.
Maniscalco,
Yes.
Miranda,
Yes.
Citro,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
and Viera. Motion carried with Viera being absent.
Very good. Now, may I have a motion to move the resolution?
We'll move, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion to move the resolution from Councilman Miranda, second from Councilmember Goods. Roll call vote.
Dingfelder,
Yes.
Boots,
Yes.
Maniscalco,
Yes.
Viera, Citro,
Yes.
Miranda,
Yes.
and Carlson.
Yes.
Motion carried with Viera being absent.
And can I get a motion to close the public hearing?
We'll move, Mr. Chairman.
Motion closed from Councilman Miranda, second from Councilmember Goods. Is there any objection? Hearing none, by unanimous consent, the public hearing is now closed. Thank you very much, Mr. Mates. Next is item number 22. Councilman Dingfelder, you have to abstain from this?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. As mentioned at first hearing, I have a client who has a interest in this project, and therefore I need to recuse myself and abstain from voting.
All right, very good. Thank you very much, sir. I would suggest then you turn your camera off. Ms. Samaniego, well, so let's swear everybody in and then Mary goes.
Oh, shit. What did I do? Okay.
You can log off, Mr. Mates.
Get off, Mr. Mates.
Muted. You're unmuted. Okay. I guess.
There we go. All right, go ahead.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm you would tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. And the clerk's office did not receive any written comments on this item.
Very good. Mary Samaniego.
Mary Samaniego, all required changes have been made to the site plan. They are with the city clerk. I'm available for any questions.
Do we have any questions? Hearing none, seeing none. All right. Petitioner.
Good evening, Council. My name is Jessica Eiserman, Stearns Weaver Miller, 401 East Jackson Street, Suite 2100. With me today is Paul Norris with Goodwill Industries. I see that he got on too late before he was sworn in, and he does not need to be sworn in at this time unless you have questions. We can cross that bridge if you do. This is a request to rezone the Goodwill site on West Hillsborough Avenue from CI Commercial Intensive to Planned Development to allow a residential reentry facility and all CI uses. The application came before you on first reading on September 24th. At first reading, we did receive unanimous approval with Councilmember Dingfelder abstaining. We have heard no objections to this rezoning, and instead we've actually had a tremendous amount of community support. So today we respectfully request your approval, and I'm available for questions. And like I said, Mr. Norris is also available for questions from Goodwill Industries.
Do we have any questions? Hearing none. Do we have anybody in the public that wishes to speak on item number 22?
No one has registered to speak on this item.
Eileen Rosario from Planning and Development, and there's no one here to speak on this item. Thank you.
Thank you very much. May I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion closed from Councilman Miranda with a second Councilman Goods. Any objection? Hearing none, by unanimous consent without any objection, the hearing is now closed. Councilmember Goods, would you mind reading item number 22, REZ 20-46?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. RZ 20-46, substitute orders being presented for second reading and adoption. An ordinance rezoning property in the general vicinity of 4102 West Hillsborough Avenue and 4059 West Crest Avenue in the city of Tampa, Florida, and more particularly described in section 1 from zoning district classification, CI, commercial intensive, to PD, plan development, residential reentry facility, and all CI uses, providing effective date.
We have a motion from Councilman Goods. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilman Citro. Roll call vote, please.
Viera, Dingfelder, Goods,
Yes.
Petro,
Yes.
Maniscalco,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
and Miranda.
Yes.
Motion carried with Dingfelder abstaining and Viera being absent.
Thank you very much. Next
you.
up, item number 23.
Okay. Yes, we're mute. Team's still on.
All right, item number 23.
For the record, I have returned, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Welcome back. There we go. All right, raise your hand. There we go, and we'll swear you in. Thank you.
Do you swear or affirm you would tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. And the clerk's office did not receive any written comments on this item.
Thank you very much. Go ahead, Mary.
Mary Samaniego, all required changes to this application have been completed, have been submitted to the city clerk's office. I'm available for any questions.
Do we have any questions? Hearing none. All right. We have an applicant for item number 23.
So the applicants did register, however, they are not logged on.
Well, I guess we'll go to public comment. Is there anybody in the public that wishes to speak on item number 23?
No one has registered to speak on this item.
Is there anybody at the convention center?
Eileen Rosario, Planning and Development. There is no one here to speak on this item. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there any question or comment from council member? Can we get a motion to close?
So moved.
We have a motion to close from Councilman Miranda, second from Councilman Goods. Is there any objection? Hearing no objection by unanimous consent, item number 23 is now closed. Councilman Dingfelder, would you mind reading item number 23, REZ 20-67?
With pleasure, Mr. Chairman. In regard to file REZ 20-67, I'll move the following ordinance for second reading and adoption. An ordinance rezoning property in the general vicinity of 3007 North Havana Avenue in the city of Tampa, Florida, and more particularly described in section 1 from zoning district classification RS50 residential single family to PD plan development residential single family attached, providing an effective date.
Do we have a second? Second from Councilman Miranda. Roll call vote, please.
Dingfelder,
Yes.
Miranda,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
Viera, Goods,
Yes.
Maniscalco,
Yes.
and Citro.
Yes.
Motion carried with Viera being absent.
Very good. Item number 23.
Sir,
Yes.
I think you're on item number 24.
I'm sorry, 24. All right.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm you would tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. And the clerk's office did not receive any written comments on this item.
All right, go ahead, Mary.
Mary Semeniego, all required changes to this application have been submitted on the site plan, and that is with the city clerk's office. I'm available for any questions.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions? All right, hearing none. Go ahead, applicant. I see Mr. Gardner on.
Sure. Good evening, Chairman Maniscalco, Truett Gardner, 400 North Passage Drive. Here on behalf of Zon Development with me is Tyler Hudson, Kyle Clayton, and our arborist, Ricky Pederica, just walked in too. We filed this application in April of 2019, so it's been a long time coming. This is a mediated settlement agreement, and we'd just like to thank everybody that has bared with us on this, including the city attorney's office, staff, as well as many of the neighbors. We were in front of you September 24th and received a 5-2 vote. As Mary mentioned, all changes to the site plan had been made. Those were both on the revision sheet, as well as a couple of others that we negotiated with Ms. Wells to add some further assurances. So we would thank everybody for their time and respectfully ask for your approval.
Do you have any questions of the applicant? Hearing none, do we have anybody in the public that wishes to speak on this item, item number 24?
No one has registered to speak on this item.
Eileen Rosario, Planning and Development. There's no one here to speak on this item.
Thank you very much. Any other questions or comments before we ask for a motion to close? Can we have a motion to close? Motion to close from Councilman Goods.
Second.
Second from Councilman Miranda. Is there any objection? Hearing no objection, by unanimous consent, the hearing is now closed. Councilmember Miranda, would you mind reading item number 24?
All right, Mr. Chairman, item 24, file number RZ 19-69. Move substitute ordinance being presented for second reading and adoption. An ordinance rezoning property in general vicinity of 7701 Interbay Boulevard in the city of Tampa, Florida, and more particularly described in section 1 from zoning district classification IG Industrial General to BD Plan Development Residential Multifamily, providing an effective date.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilmember Goods. Roll call vote, please.
Carlson?
No.
Boots?
Yes.
Miranda?
Yes.
Petro?
No.
Maniscalco?
Yes.
Dingfelder?
Sad and hesitant, yes.
And Vieira. Motion carried with Carlson and Citro voting no and Vieira being absent.
Thank you very much. We will now go back to the beginning of the agenda and start with item number 1. We already opened all the public hearings, so those are fine. If we'd like to begin with item number 1.
Jennifer Malone, their Planning Commission staff, I will request to share my screen for these items.
Yes.
Okay, this is, the first one is 1918A. This group of plan amendments was before the Planning Commission back in February. At the beginning of June, the Tampa City Council voted to transmit these amendments to the Department of Economic Opportunity. And then on June 22nd, we received a no comment letter from DEO. So it is back before you for adoption. But also mention this is the last group of parks that we have processed in this way. We've kind of streamlined the process so it does not need to come back before this board as many times as they currently were. And these were all consistent. And the background is that this was initiated by Tampa City Council to recognize the parks, and they're all consistent with the comprehensive plan. And then the first one, 1918A, is A's Memorial Park. It's in the Central Tampa Planning District along Bayshore. The request would take this from the residential 83 to the recreation open space designation, and that concludes this presentation.
Thank you very much. Any questions or comments? All right, who's next?
I don't believe I'm not sure if there's any other staff members speaking on this.
Okay, I think that's it. Do we have anybody in the public that wishes to speak on item number 1?
No one has registered to speak on this item.
All right, anybody at the convention center?
Eileen Rosario, Planning and Development. There's no one here to speak on this item. Thank you.
Move to close, Mr. Chairman.
We have a
Second.
motion from Councilman Moreno with a second from Councilman Citro. Is there any objection? Hearing none, by unanimous consent without objection, the public hearing is now closed. Councilmember Citro, would you mind reading item number 1?
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Chair. File number PA 19-18A. Ordinance be presented for first reading consideration. An ordinance amending the Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan, future land use element, future land use map for the property generally located at 102 East Hyde Park Place and otherwise known as AIDS Memorial Park, from regional mixed use 100 RMU 100 to residential 83 RA 83 to recreational open space ROS, providing for reveal of all ordinances, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
Do we have a second? Second from Councilman Miranda. Roll call vote.
Goose,
Yes.
Miranda,
Yes.
Felder,
Yes.
Petro,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
Viera, and Maniscalco.
Yes.
Motion carried with Viera being absent. Second reading and adoption will be held on November 19th at 9:30 a.m.
Thank you very much. Ms. Malone. I know we have- Yes,
Mr. Chairman, I had to go off camera for a second. I had to go for a break in case if anybody wants a donut, just check with me.
you know I can't say no to that kind of stuff. I'm glad it's virtual. If not, I'd be reaching for the bag. Thank you very
Sorry to
much.
interrupt.
Ms. Malone, can we take all these park issues at once, and then we just just to speed things along, and then we'll just do individual votes after?
That's fine with me if city legal is approves of that method as well.
Is that okay?
May I inquire of the clerk, is there anybody registered to speak on any of these items? That would be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7.
No one has registered to speak on none of those items.
And just before we could do this, we'll do this on the record, but is there anybody to your knowledge at the Tampa Convention Center to speak on 2 through 7?
Eileen Rosario, there is no one here at the Convention Center to speak on any of these items. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, then if it's council's a pleasure, you can hear all the reports together, open the public hearing together for 2 through 7, and then close them and take them each individually for a separate vote.
Very good. We already have everything open, so we're good to go on that. So we'll hear them all, then we'll close the public hearing, and then I'll take individual votes after. All right, go ahead, Ms. Malone.
Great. Okay. Item number 2 is 1918B. It is Ballast Point Park. It is a lot of the site is already recreational open space, but then there's a portion of it that is the residential 20, and this would take it off the recreational open space, and it was found consistent. Item C is Centennial Park, which is in Ybor. It is at a residential 50 future land use designation, and this amendment would take it to the recreational open space as well. It was also found consistent. Item D is Cuscaden Park. It is urban mixed use 60, and then this would change that to the recreational open space designation. And that was consistent. Item E is 22nd Street Park within Seminole Heights. This has 2 land uses of the light industrial and then the residential 20, and then this would change that all to the recreational open space designation. And that is consistent. Item F is Tappan Tract Park in South Tampa. There is some environmentally sensitive areas on this site, as well as a light industrial designation and a residential 35, and then this would take the entire site to the recreational open space. And then that was consistent as well. I have item G, which is Tacoma Trail Park. It is residential 10 and residential 20, and then this would change it all to recreational open space. And that was consistent as well. And then that concludes the park.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions or comments? And just to ask for the record, do we have anybody that's here for public comment on any of these items 2 through 7?
No one has registered to speak on those items.
Very good. Nobody at the convention center, correct?
There is no one here to speak on this item.
May I have a motion to close items 2 through 7?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion to close from Councilman Miranda, second from Councilman Dingfelder. Is there any objection? Hearing none, and without any objection by unanimous consent, items 2 through 7 are now closed. I left off at Councilmember Carlson. Councilmember Carlson, would you mind reading item number 2?
Yes, sir. Thank you. I'd like to move file number PA 1918B, ordinance being presented for first reading consideration, ordinance amending the Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan, future land use element, future land use map for the property generally located at 5212 Interbay Boulevard, otherwise known as Ballast Point Park, from residential 20 R20 and recreational open space ROS to recreational open space ROS, providing for repeal of all ordinances in conflict, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
Second.
Second from Councilman Miranda. Roll call vote.
Viera, Goods,
Yes.
Dingfelder,
Yes.
Miranda,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
Petro,
Yes.
and Maniscalco.
Yes.
Motion carried with Viera being absent. Second reading and adoption will be held on November 19th at 9:30 a.m.
Thank you very much. Item number 3, Councilmember Dingfelder, are you still on?
I am.
Yes, sir. If you could take item number 3.
Where is he? Do I see him?
I don't, there he is.
I had to finish the donut. All right. Hold on.
Number 3.
In regard to PA 19-18C, ordinance being presented for first reading, an ordinance amending the Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan future land use element, future land use map for the property generally located at 1800 East 8th Avenue and otherwise known as Centennial Park from residential 50 R50 to recreational open space ROS, providing for a repeal of all ordinances in conflict, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
Do we have a second? Second from Councilman Miranda. Roll call vote.
Dingfelder,
Yes.
Goods,
Yes.
Maniscalco,
Yes.
Viera, Petro,
Yes.
Miranda,
Yes.
and Carlson.
Yes.
Motion carried with Viera being absent. Second reading and adoption will be held on November 19th at 9:30 a.m.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Goods, would you mind reading item number 4?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. PA 19-18D, ordinance being presented for first reading consideration. An ordinance amending the Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan, future land use element, future land use map for the property generally located at 2800 North 15th Street, otherwise known as Cascading Park, for urban mixed use 60 UMU-60 to residential open space ROS, providing for repeal of all ordinance in conflict, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
Second.
We have a second from Councilmember Miranda. Roll call vote.
Goods,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
Maniscalco,
Yes.
Viera, Dingfelder,
Yes, and I want Charlie to tell us about Cascading Park when we're done.
Yes.
I'll tell you right now, there's one of the few parks that has 2 Hall of Famers in the Baseball Hall of Fame, Al Lopez and Tony La Russa.
And did you learn to swim there?
Her name is on the statue that we haven't funded yet.
Okay. Very good. Thank you very much.
Miranda,
Yes.
and Petro.
Yes.
Motion carried with Viera being absent. Second reading and adoption will be held on November 19th at 9:30 a.m.
Thank you very much. Next up is item number 5. If I could have Councilmember Miranda read item number 5.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item number 5, file number PA 19-18E, an ordinance being presented for first reading consideration. An ordinance amending the Image 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan, future land use element, future land use map for the property generally located at 7801 North 22nd Street and otherwise known as 22nd Street Park light industrial L1 to residential 20, R20 to recreational open space ROS, providing for repeal of all ordinance in conflict, providing severability, providing an effective date.
Second.
Second from Councilman Citro, roll call vote.
Petro,
Yes.
Goode,
Yes.
Miranda,
Yes.
Dingfelder,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
Maniscalco,
Yes.
and Viera. Motion carried with Viera being absent. Second reading and adoption will be held on November 19th at 9:30 a.m.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Citro, would you mind reading item number 6?
Yes, with pleasure. File number PA 19-18F. An ordinance being presented for first reading consideration. An ordinance amending Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan, Future Land Use Element, Future Land Use Map, for the property generally located at 6601 South Sherrill Avenue and otherwise known as Taven Tract Park, from light industrial, LI, major environmental sensitive area, ESA, to residential 35, R35, to recreational open space, ROS, providing for repeal of all ordinances in conflict, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
Do we have a second? Second from Councilmember Miranda, roll call vote.
Dingfelder,
Yes.
Maniscalco,
Yes.
Petro,
Yes.
Miranda,
Yes.
Viera, Carlson,
Yes.
and Goode.
Yes.
Motion carried with Viera being absent. Second reading and adoption will be held on November 19th at 9:30 a.m.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Chairman,
Yes, sir.
just for the record, and Joe, you and Jennifer both had issues with the pronunciation. In New Jersey, there's a place called Old Tapan. It rhymes with Japan, I think. And so I've got a feeling it's probably the same pronunciation, Tapan Tract.
Thank you very much.
That was invaluable.
Yes. Item number 7 is you, Mr. Dingfelder, if you would not mind reading it.
Well, and somebody can correct me on the pronunciation of Tacoma. All right, in regard to PA 19-18G, I'll move the following ordinance for first reading consideration. An ordinance amending the Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan, Future Land Use Element, Future Land Use Map for the property generally located at 10099 Tacoma Trail, and otherwise known as Tacoma Trail Park, from residential 10 R10 and residential 20 R20 to residential open space ROS, providing for repeal of ordinances in conflict, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
Second.
We have a second from Councilmember Miranda, roll call vote.
Carlson,
Yes.
Petro,
Yes.
Goode,
Yes.
Dingfelder,
Yes.
Miranda,
Yes.
Maniscalco,
Yes.
and Viera. Motion carried with Viera being absent. Second reading and adoption will be held on November 19th at 9:30 a.m.
Thank you very much. Ms. Malone, item number 8.
Sure. Item number 8 is NE Policy 5.1.9 under Plan Amendment 19-21. I apologize. This is part of the same group that was transmitted to DEO as well, and we received that no comment letter from DEO on June 22nd. This is removing language from the comprehensive plan that has been deemed legally problematic. We've been working with your legal department on this language. It was found consistent with the comprehensive plan. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have anybody in the public that wishes to speak on item number 8?
No one has registered to speak on this item.
Anybody at the convention center?
Eileen Rosario, Planning and Development. There is no one here to speak on this item. Thank you.
Thank you very much. May I have a motion to close the public
I'll move
hearing?
it, Chairman.
Motion to close from Councilman Miranda, second from Councilmember Goods. Any objection? Hearing none, by unanimous consent, the public hearing is now closed. Councilmember Goods, if you would not mind reading item number 8, please.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Move 19-21, ordinance being presented for first reading consideration. An ordinance amending the Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan, future land use element to remove neighborhood policy 5.1.9, providing for repeal of all ordinance in conflict, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
Second.
We have a second from Councilmember Miranda. Roll call vote.
Goods,
Yes.
Petro,
Yes.
Maniscalco,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
Viera, Miranda,
Yes.
and Dingfelder.
Yes.
Motion carried with Viera being absent. Second reading and adoption will be held on November 19th at 9:30 a.m.
Very good. That takes care of the 5:01 p.m. public hearings. May I have a motion to open the 6 p.m. public hearings, which are items 25 through 31?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion to open from Councilman Miranda, second from Councilmember Goods. Any objection? Hearing none by unanimous consent, the public hearings are open. Just an FYI on item number 28, since it's been relatively quiet, we have 21 people registered to speak. So we have that coming up. Item number 25, Mary Samaniego, if you'd like to go ahead and begin.
Actually,
Yes, Ms.
item
McLean.
number 25 is, this is Jan McLean with the Office of the City Attorney. Item number 25 is the proposed designation of a brownfield area for rehabilitation pursuant to Chapter 376. And this is the first public hearing as required by statute for that brownfield designation. I would like to give you just a little bit of a background. This is the first of two scheduled public hearings pursuant to the Florida statutes for the proposed brownfield area designation of a property that is located at 2215 East Henry Avenue. The application has been submitted to the city by the property owners, Grace Point Heights LLC, and the council has that in their packet, requesting designation of this property of the brownfield area to assist in the assessment and remediation of environmental impacts that may exist on property. Details of the designation have been outlined in a document entitled the staff report, also provided to City Council on the Heights at Grace Point Green reuse area proposed brownfield designation. A public meeting was held on September 22nd as required also by the statute, and no public appeared to comment. There is no action required this evening as this is a public hearing to receive public comment. At the conclusion of the second public hearing, which is scheduled for November the 5th, council will then have the opportunity to pass the resolution designating the Heights at Grace Point Green reuse area a brownfield area. Don't know if anybody, we have Josh Ellis of the city's environmental programs online if there's any questions. And I don't know if anybody has registered for public comment on this item.
No one has registered to speak on this item.
So as I indicated, there's no action required by City Council this evening.
All right. Mr. Shelby.
If you could just check the convention center.
Yes, do we have anyone at the convention center to speak on item 25, BF 20-01?
Eileen Rosario, Planning and Development. There is no one here to speak on this item. Thank you.
Very good. So we don't have to close the public hearing or do anything, or do we?
You can close the public hearing and announce the next date.
All right. May I have a motion to close item number 25?
So moved, Chairman.
We have a motion from Councilman Good, second from Councilman Miranda. Is there any objection to the motion?
You know, do this by roll call vote if you don't mind, just so it's on the record that way.
Roll call vote to close the public hearing.
Goods,
Yes.
Dingfelder,
Yes.
Citro,
Yes.
Miranda,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
Maniscalco,
Yes.
and Viera. Motion carried with Viera being absent.
Very good. And we have the second public hearing for this item, BF 20-01, will be held on November 5th, 2020 at 9:30 a.m. It has been announced to the public.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Next up, we have a vacating of an alley, item number 26.
I believe that's all, a quasi judicial matter.
Yes, so if we could, we already opened the hearing. We have to swear everybody in.
Please raise your right hand.
Yes, Councilman Goods?
Did you say item 28 about 23 people to speak tonight, sir?
21 people are registered to speak for item number 28. At 3 minutes, that's a good hour.
But
28
Mr.
or
Chairman,
20?
I believe that there is going to be a motion or request to continue this item.
Which
Why don't we
one?
deal with it now?
Which one? Item number 28?
My understanding. Ms.
Mary,
Samaniego is waving. She's waving. She might have something to add to this. And so is
Go
Ms.
ahead,
Johnson-Velez.
Mary.
Thank you. I was trying to get your attention earlier. I was going to clear the agenda because 27 and 29 both want continuances. I can't speak to 28. Maybe Ms. Johnson-Velez knows.
Ms. Velez, Johnson-Velez. You're muted.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Item 28, there is a request by the attorney for the business owner and the establishment that this item be continued until council resumes in-person meetings. And so I do have a proposed date that we can take up now if you'd like, or I'm happy to do so when you get to that item.
Let's take it now just because there's so many people registered. So we don't have everybody waiting. Let's go to number 28.
May I speak on that, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, sir.
I'm certainly not opposed to, but that's a wide open thing about when the council meets in person.
Well,
I don't know when that's gonna happen. No one does, because now the virus is coming back stronger than ever. So who knows if we're gonna be like this for a week, 2 weeks, or a year? But we're saying that we're giving somebody carte blanche for a year?
well, Mr. Miranda, because this is in the nature of a quasi judicial hearing. And so, as you know, that we require all of the interest stakeholders in a quasi judicial hearing to sign an election to proceed form. And so, I believe that Mr. Eric Koenig, who's the representative for the restaurant, is online or is available and can perhaps speak to that. But he has indicated in the past on behalf of his client that they have elected not to proceed in the virtual format. And so council might recall that, I mean, this hearing was originally scheduled for July 16th, which meeting was continued, and then it was continued to August 27th, at which point we were all virtual, and we're still all virtual today. So that's kind of how we've landed on this. And so
May I make a suggestion? I don't know if it's legal. I don't mind having continuation, but I can't make one indefinite. That's what they're asking for. I think we ought to set a special call meeting at the convention center and have this done, one way or the other. I don't think you can have all these continuations.
Mr. Shelby.
If I can, Mr. Miranda, I think what is going to ultimately happen, as you know, this is and I might as well bring that up now while it's relevant. This is your last fully virtual meeting, and you are not meeting next week because it is the 5th Thursday of the month, so council does not have a meeting next week. Your next meeting is the November 5th agenda. And then you go back to no night meeting on November 5th, and you really go back to your regular meeting process. Your calendar is in effect pretty much the same through the end of the year. And your meetings will be at the Tampa Convention Center with a physical quorum present, with the understanding that the governor will not extend that executive order that allowed you to do this. So council will be present. The public will be permitted to attend, but it'll be what we consider a hybrid meeting, which means that those who feel because of public health reasons that they don't want to attend the convention center can participate virtually. A physical quorum of city council is required. My recommendation would be a minimum of 5. So in that sense, there is a very good possibility, and my understanding is the election to proceed, and Ms. Johnson-Velez would be able to talk to this perhaps, is being amended because the petitioner will have the right to be able to appear and go in person. And as we move forward, it's more likely that hopefully, I don't say more likely, I can't say that, maybe it was wishful thinking, but with a relatively far enough date, and I do agree with you, Mr. Miranda, a date and time certain should be set and a realistic time so it could be adhered to. And I believe Ms. Johnson Velez is able to discuss that. And certainly you want to hear from the petitioner, and perhaps there are other people who speak to the continuance, but your points are very well taken, sir.
Thank you very much, and I apologize to Ms. Velez for jumping the gun.
No, that's quite all right, sir. So I did have a chance to speak, and I see Mr. Eric Koenig, who is the attorney for the establishment, on the screen now. So I'm sure he can address his availability, but I had spoken to him prior to the hearing, and what he has advised me is that your regularly scheduled both day meetings and your evening meeting in November, he has scheduling conflicts with that. And so the December 10th date, which is your evening meeting in December, he did say he was available for. So, I mean, if council would like to have a special call meeting, we can discuss specific dates when that might be able to happen sooner than December 10th, certainly.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you again.
Thank you, sir.
Very good.
Mr. Chairman, how full is the December 10th calendar?
Yeah, Mr. Shelby.
That's been looked at, I believe. Is there somebody who's willing to, from staff or from legal, who has a sense of what is presently on the December 10th calendar? Excuse me, December 12th, December 10th calendar.
This is Kate Wells. I don't know the complete schedule for December 10th. I don't know if Mary might have it available.
You're asking about the December 10th, the evening hearing?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm looking, one moment. We will have 12 items.
And it's in person, which is normally you're back to 13 at the time under your rules.
Right. Yep.
And I would, frankly, the logistics involved in a special call meeting would make this very difficult. So it could be fit, if it could be fit into a regularly scheduled meeting on your calendar, it would, for staff and for logistics, it would be substantially easier. And
It'll be 13, we'll be at 12, you said, Mr. Shelby?
right now, it would be what this would add and make it how many total?
It would make it 13 total, which is your standard maximum.
I don't have a problem with council's pleasure, but I wouldn't want to go over 13, especially when you're saying, like tonight, you're talking about over 20-something people that want to speak.
It'll be a long night.
A long night.
That's an assumption that all those people are necessarily wanting to speak. I don't know. We could hear. I believe there's also, after we hear from Mr. Koenig, I believe there's. Am I pronouncing your name correctly, sir?
Yes, sir. You are Koenig.
Okay, thank you. I also understand that there is a representative from the public that might want to be able to speak on people's behalf. At least that's my understanding. I don't know whether that's the case.
Mr. Dingfelder. You're muted.
I don't know if this came up in the list of dates. I was thinking about maybe our November CRA meeting. Maybe we could just tag it on to the end of, under the end of that as a special call meeting.
We have a night meeting. We have a night meeting that night. That's November 12th.
We have a night meeting? Okay.
Yes.
I was trying to find a shorter morning meeting that we might tag it on to.
There are no short meetings anymore.
And a morning meeting may put people at a disadvantage for the ability to participate, particularly the neighborhood.
Oh.
So I would recommend taking an existing scheduled, calendared night meeting, if at all possible, please.
Okay, just trying to think outside the box.
And what was November 12th, a date that did not work, Mr. Koenig?
So November 12th was a date that did work. It would put you at 13 hearings, and that way, Mr. Good's position would be to not add any additional hearings to the December date.
Why don't we do it, and we're going to assume that a couple of them are going to cancel out.
You said December 10th or November 12th? I said November 12th. You just said December, Mr. Shelby.
I believe the November 12th date is not, I believe the December, Mary Samaniego, please, would you please clarify for me?
We've been talking about the December 10th evening hearing.
And Kim, if we can just ask Mr. Koenig to confirm that his availability or not for the November 12th. It was my understanding that he wasn't available, but.
That's That's correct, Ms. Johnson Velez. I'm going to be out of town on the 12th, but I'm available for December 10th and virtually any other night meeting you have after that.
That would be my recommendation, depending on what council's pleasure is after hearing from the representatives of the public, if they want to speak to the continuance.
If it's not December 10th, then we go into January. And it could be January 28th. Mr. Goods.
Again, I don't have an issue with the 10th, but we have to keep in mind, we talked about overloading these meetings. And if we do this one to make it 13, I just want to make sure we don't add anything else, regardless we have somebody that have a circumstance that we just can't, because what I'm hearing, what I'm seeing, this could be a long evening with this type of I mean, people might want to speak reference to an issue like this. And what I'm seeing from what this file is, this is going to be a hot issue. It's going to be a hot issue. So I could go along with the 10th of council's pleasure, but I just want to make it clear, I don't want to add anything else. Would not like to add anything else on that 10th.
No, this will be the cap, period. No exceptions. Councilman Dingfelder.
Move December 10th.
I think we should hear from, if there's anything else from Mr. Koenig.
I know, but I can make the motion, at least get it on the floor.
Okay.
We have a motion.
Second to get on the floor.
Second from Councilman Miranda for December 10th at 6 p.m. All right. Before we take a vote, Mr. Shelby, should we go to the public for any public comment on this?
Ms. Johnson Velez, are you aware of anything specific as to the public? Because here's what I'm concerned about, council. I don't want the record to be tainted in any way by people getting into the merits of the discussion. Obviously, I believe there is a legal basis for the petitioner to request this continuance tonight, in that we are in a virtual environment that does require this election to proceed. He's chosen not to, and that's his right to not do that. So I certainly don't want to get into any merits of this case whatsoever tonight. So whoever speaks has to be cautious to be able to only address the continuance. And quite frankly, there is no legal basis for council to object or deny that request, because he has elected not to proceed. So the public, being aware of that, can say what their position is, quite frankly, but council really does not have this discretion. And that's my legal opinion, unless Ms. Johnson Velez, don't you agree with that?
Well, there has not been an election to proceed form that has been filed, which is what council is requiring at this point.
Let's call the question.
Yes, sir. Dingfelder.
Is there a second to calling the question?
No, I don't need a vote to call the question. I'll just suggest to Chairman that we just go ahead and move forward with the vote.
All right, we have a motion from Councilman Dingfelder, second from Councilman Miranda. Roll call vote.
Petro.
Yes.
Miranda.
Yes.
Carlson.
Yes.
Dingfelder.
Yes, and for clarification, this is voting actually on the continuance to December 10th.
At 6 p.m.
Yes, sir.
Maniscalco.
Yes.
Vieira. And Goose.
Yes.
Motion carried with Vieira being absent.
All right, does that settle item number 28?
So that is continued. I should let the public know that they will not be receiving any additional notice of that hearing, so that they should make note that it has been continued by City Council to December 10th at 6 p.m. Presently at the Tampa Convention Center. That's where it's scheduled to be.
Very good. So for the listening public and those that are lined up to speak or have an interest in item number 28, Mole y Abuela at 1202 North Franklin Street, that will take place at 6 p.m. Tampa Convention Center, December 10th. Thank you very much. And then
Thank you, sir.
before we continue, 27 and 29, were there also continuances, Mary?
Yes, thank you. Mary Samaniego. Item number 27 is REZ 2021. The applicant is requesting a continuance to the December 10th hearing, which is, I've counted in that number that we just reviewed. So that is not, that is included in the 13. That is not number 14. I included this number.
Yeah, so we're capped at 13 no matter one. This is already,
Oh,
okay.
yeah, my hearing here.
Mr. Michelini, is this you? No.
Yeah, I'm on number 26.
Wait, we're just continuing.
number
some stuff. So this is
27.
item number 27. Item number 27, if you wish to speak on this, if you could turn your camera on, we'll swear you in.
On 27?
Yes, we're doing the housekeeping, the continuances.
We'll come back to you at 26. We're on 27 now.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm you would tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. And the clerk's office did not receive any written comments on this item.
All right. So this is for a request of continuance, I believe, from the gentleman, sir. Go ahead.
Good evening, council members. Similar to the last issue that I listened to your discussion on, we are requesting continuance until December 10th. Our concern is for physical quorum. We are okay with the quasi virtual format. And we had discussed with staff continuance to that date. So as Mary Samaniego just mentioned, we are included in that count of 13 and respectfully requesting continuation until the December 12th day or 10th date. Thank you.
Very good. Any questions? All right. Do we have anybody in the public that wishes to speak on item number 27? And this is on the continuance only, not the merits of the case, just a continuance.
No one has registered to speak on this item.
Tampa Convention Center?
Eileen Rosario, Planning and Development. There's no one here to speak on this item.
All right. If there's nothing, Ms. Wells.
Thank you. Kate Wells, Chief Assistant City Attorney. On this item, given how long it's been pending, I think the original hearing was scheduled back in May. A continuance to December would bring us beyond the 180 days that are required for City Council to take action, both by Florida statutes and our city code. So I would ask, while the city would agree to waiving that 180-day deadline, I would ask the applicant's representative to confirm on the record that they're in agreement with that waiver as well.
Yes, and for the record, Kevin Reale, 401 East Jackson Street, West Stearns Beaver Miller. We have discussed this prior to the meeting with staff, and we are in agreement to both request the council to waive that 180-day requirement and agree to waive any requirement right we may have to request a hearing within 180 days.
Very good. All right. Can we get a motion then to close the public hearing?
To continue, please.
Oh, so we leave it up. Can I get a motion to continue this item to December 10th at 6 p.m.?
So move, Mr. Chairman, December 10th, 6 p.m.
Motion from Councilman Miranda. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilmember Goods. Roll call vote.
Dingfelder? Dingfelder?
Yes, thank you.
Goods?
Yes.
Vieira? Carlson?
Yes.
Citro?
Yes.
Miranda?
Yes.
And Maniscalco.
Yes.
Motion carried with Vieira being absent.
Thank you. Item number 29, I believe there's also a continuance.
Yes, Mary Samaniego, for the record, item number 29 is REZ 2031. The applicant was unable to attend the meeting tonight due to a medical issue. So they are requesting a continuance to the evening hearing of November 12th. Ms. Wells, for the record, they have emailed me the 100-day extension consent.
All right.
What's the status of that evening in terms of crowded?
That agenda has 13 cases.
13.
This would be the 14th?
No, sir, this would be number 13.
So that's it. We're capped.
Correct.
Very-
With the understanding, we're still attempting to get caught up.
Yes.
But
Very
we're
good.
capped.
Yes, but we're capped. Nothing more than 13 cases. That's it. We have
Correct.
reached the limit. Do we have the applicant here for item number 29?
No, he's unable to attend due to medical reasons, sir.
Okay, so it's just, I'll ask to see if there's anybody in the public that wishes to speak just on the continuance on item number 29. Anybody registered or at the convention center?
No one has registered to speak on this item.
Thank you
Mr.
very much.
Chairman,
Yes?
Mr. Chairman, may I just follow up on this? Mary and Ms. Samaniego, this is regarding specifically rezonings, but I look at the calendar and I see 2 review hearings and I guess a settlement hearing, if that's correct. Could we confirm that? Does anybody know? But just so the council's aware of that they're not rezoning cases, but they are other matters that council's going to be taking up that day. It looks like it's a 5:01 start. Is anybody familiar from staff with that?
I don't understand what you're saying, sir.
I'm
There's-
looking at the November 12th calendar, and I see that there are 2 review hearings and a request for relief and a special magistrate's 7051 hearing to be heard that night. That's in addition to the rezonings. Is that correct?
I've included the 7051 reconsideration case as part of that 13. The
Okay, great.
for review, I'm not aware of.
Okay. Well, thank you.
This is
All right.
Eileen, Planning and Development, and there's no one here to speak on this item. Thank you.
All right. May I then have a motion to continue this item?
So moved.
Second.
Taking time, please.
Date and time, Councilman Goods.
Is it for the 12th? What did you have for the 12th? November 12th, was it, Ms. Samaniego?
At 6 p.m.
November 12th at 6 p.m., sir.
November 12th, 6 p.m.
We have a motion from Councilman Goods, second from Councilman Miranda. Yes, Councilman Dingfelder.
Oh, no. Yeah, when I looked at this item a little while ago, I thought it said alterations and cremations. I think I need new glasses because it says alterations and creations, but I was wondering what alterations and cremations was about. So anyway.
Service to the community. Thank you very much. We have a motion from Councilman Goods, second from Councilman Miranda. Roll call vote.
Citro,
Yes.
Maniscalco,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
Miranda,
Yes.
Vieira, Goods,
Yes.
and Dingfelder.
Yes.
Motion carried with Vieira being absent.
Thank you very much. We will now go back to item number 26. Councilman Citro, if I may pass you the gavel. For
Yes,
just a
please.
few minutes. Thank you very much.
All right. Who are we hearing from first?
We need to be sworn in.
Okay, please, all going to be giving any type of testimony today, please be sworn in.
Do you swear you would tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. And the clerk's office did receive written comments on this item.
I need to share my computer screen, please. Can you hear?
There it is.
Okay, now. Which screen? Are you seeing it?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, Barbara Lynch, Land Development Coordination. This is VAC 2004, and it's a request to vacate a part of an alley in South Tampa, generally located at 4425 West Azeel Street. I just want to go up here. So the alley lies south of Platt Street, north of Azeel Street, and runs between Hesperides and the dead end of the alley that was previously vacated. On the map, the portion of the alley to be vacated is shown in yellow, and the petitioner's property is in red. And when you go to the next shot, the alley is shown in pink, the piece that's going to be vacated. Just east of that.
Can you expand that, Barbara?
Expand it, make it bigger. Hold on, get some help here. Nope, that makes sense. Sorry, this is my first time, so I'm sort of, I can make it bigger. No, it's not making.
Mary, click the slideshow at the bottom right corner.
Okay, is that better?
Perfect.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So this alley, they're requesting, the part they're requesting to be vacated, this is a little more detailed view, is in the purple. And the previously vacated part was in 1953. And let me go to my next shot. Oh, yes. We're having a little technical difficulty here. Oh, there it is. Okay, thank you. Okay, so, and this is how it was platted. And so this is a shot of the remaining part of the alley from looking east from Hesperides toward the dead end. And so you'll note this house was under construction on the north side of the alley at the time that I took this picture. Okay, and this is abutting owner looking north of the alleyway. The existing residence is demolished and a new house has been constructed there. This is the applicant's property looking north of Maziel Street. And this is another property that's on the south side of the alley. And this is a budding property looking south from Platt Street. And that's looking south from Platt Street toward the alley from Platt. So basically, what happened is the house that was on the north got demolished. They used to use the alley. The new house does not access the alley, and they are now requesting that this be closed. Any questions?
Any questions from council members? All right, hearing none. Thank you very much. Next up, Mr. Michelini.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, sir.
Get my screen shared, please.
Looks like an easy one, Steve. Give us your shortest version.
Well, I'll give you the abbreviated version. It was the east side, 3/4 of the alley was vacated in 1953. There's only 3 houses that are now affected by the vacating, and all of the neighbors are in agreement. We haven't received any comments that were opposed to this vacating. And I was gonna show you. Can you see that? Is that visible to your screens?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So you only have these 2 houses on the south and the 1 house that's under construction on the north that are affected. Basically, there are no utilities that are in conflict. So everyone is in agreement, and the staff processed this without any exceptions. So we're respectfully requesting approval.
No utilities, no utilities, no nothing?
No utilities.
That concludes my presentation unless you have any questions.
All right, anything else? Do we have anybody? Do you have anybody in the public that wishes to speak on this item number 26?
No one has registered to speak on this item.
Anybody at the convention center?
Eileen Rosario, Planning and Development. There is no one here to speak on this item. Thank you.
Very good. We have a motion to close from Councilmember Miranda. Do we have a second? Councilman Dingfelder, any opposition to closing the public hearing?
Miranda.
And who? Miranda made the motion, Dingfelder seconded it. Is there any objection to closing the public hearing? Hearing none by unanimous consent and by and no objection, the hearing is closed. Who would like to read item number 26?
I'll read it.
Go ahead, Councilman Dingfelder.
Okay. In regard to file BAC 20-04, I'll move an ordinance for first reading consideration. An ordinance vacating, closing, discontinuing, and abandoning a portion of alleyway right-of-way lying south of Platt Street, north of Azile Street, east of Hesperides Avenue, and west of Manhattan Avenue in Belgrano subdivision, a subdivision in the city of Tampa, Hillsborough County, Florida, the same being more fully described in section 1 hereof, subject to certain covenants, conditions, and restrictions more particularly set forth herein, providing an effective date.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilmember Dingfelder with a second from Councilmember Miranda. Roll call vote, please.
Carlson,
No.
Sierra, Goose,
Yes.
Dingfelder,
Yes.
Miranda,
Yes.
Citro,
Yes.
and Maniscalco.
Yes.
Motion carried with Carlson voting no, Viera being absent. Second reading and adoption will be held on November 19th at 9:30 a.m.
Thank you, Mr. Michelini.
Thank you, council.
All right, next up, we have number 30.
Yes, Barbara Lynch, Land Development Coordination. Do we need to be sworn in on this as well?
Yes, please raise your right hand.
Is there a petitioner on this?
Yes, one moment.
Hello?
Yes, so if you could please turn on your webcam so we can see you, and then we'll swear you in.
Okay.
Looking for a petitioner.
Yes.
That voice was Bill Boris before.
Okay.
Yes, I'm trying to get my webcam, but I think I'm having a
There it
hard
is.
time. You see me now?
We hear you, but we don't see you.
Okay, 1 second.
Just click the video icon.
Yeah, I'm hitting it.
While we're waiting, it's nice to see you, Barbara. Nice of you to join us.
Hi, guys. Been a long time.
Wow.
Been working the whole time though.
Working from home?
Some, and then back in the office, rotating in and out the last 2 months.
Barbara, they got you listed here as Ron Wigington on the
Yeah,
screen. I don't think you're Ron Wigington.
There he is.
We're sharing the camera together.
My setup wasn't working.
All right, looks like we lost Mr. Francisco. I don't know if you want to move to the next item.
Number 31, and we go back to 30 and give him a chance to log back on. All right, let's do item number 31.
Okay, I guess we have to be sworn on that one too. So
Yes.
we have a petitioner.
Yeah, I'm here.
Please turn on your webcam so we can see you.
Mr. Francisco Diaz, it doesn't look like you have video capabilities. Do you have a webcam?
Yeah, I do these all the time, and let me see. Do I need to add?
Are you using your phone, sir?
I am.
Phones don't have the capability on this platform.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add to the. Do I need to be viewed? I don't have anything to add.
Yeah.
Yes, you need to be sworn in.
Is this 11?
This is 31.
This is 30.
Mr. Shelby, he can waive his appearance, and if he doesn't want to participate.
Yeah, if he doesn't say anything, he should be okay, correct, Mr. Shelby?
Is there anybody else who's registered to speak on this item?
No one has registered to speak on this item.
Is there anyone at the Tampa Convention Center?
Eileen Rosario, Planning and Development. No one here to speak on this item. Thank you.
If the petitioner is willing to waive his ability to testify and give evidence at this hearing and chooses to remain silent, then you can hear the staff report, and then you can decide, council, whether you want to move forward or give this an opportunity for him to continue this, as long as he can hear what's happening. And then if he needs to come back to continue this, it will be at a date and time that he agrees to. So I suggest you can go forward.
Give it a shot.
Okay, so just to clarify, we're on 18, correct? We're on 31, which is VAC
You're on
20.
VAC 20-18 at an alley and what is it? Adela Street, north of Ivy.
That's the one.
Yes, Ivy.
That's the one.
Okay. Do I have to be sworn still, or?
Yes.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm you would tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. And the
And
clerk's
even-
office did not receive any written comments.
Thank you. And the petitioner, can you state your name for the record?
Francisco Diaz.
And Mr. Diaz, is it your position that you're willing to proceed today without having the capability of being seen and sworn in? Is that your position?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I need to share my screen.
Yes, we see it.
Okay, Barbara Lynch, Land Development Coordination. VAC 2018 is a request to vacate an alley on McFarland Park. The alley lies south of Abdella, north of Ivy, and runs between Lincoln Avenue and Matanzas Avenue. Slideshow. Okay, so can you see that, everybody?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so the petitioner's property is in red and the alley to be vacated is in yellow. Let's go to the next slide. So, and again, this is just a graphic, so it's what's shown in purple, and the petitioner's property is in gray. And the alley is unimproved. It's grass. It's blocked at the west end by a chain link fence or a gate, and the alley is open at the west end, but appears overgrown, and it doesn't look like anyone's using it for access. So I'll go to the photos. This is the alleyway looking east from Lincoln Avenue. It's fenced and gated at that end. This is the alleyway looking west from Matanzas Avenue. It appears overgrown, so not in use by cars or people. This is the applicant's property looking north from Ivy Street. And this is the alley looking west from Lincoln Avenue. This is a continuation alley on the other side. This one is vacated. So that's the alley that is to the, excuse me a minute. The alley to the west is vacated. And then the alley, this is looking east from Matanzas, a continuation alley, and this is not vacated. There's no objection from staff. There are easements for wastewater and Spectrum and Frontier. And I did include, the applicant did include a petition by abutting owners. There's 11 property owners that are in agreement with the vacating. And I said I would include that in this request. Do you have any questions?
Do you have any questions? Mr. Dingfelder?
Thank you. Did I see Jonathan Scott on the Hollywood Squares here?
Yeah, I believe he's here.
And are you with us?
Jonathan Scott.
Yes.
There he is.
Oh,
All right.
Were you sworn in?
I sure was, yes.
Okay. Jonathan, Transportation Department. So I don't usually support these, especially when it's a nice intact alley from one end to the other, but it appears that this thing is not being used, closed off on one end and not being used from the other end. And does the City Transportation Department ever foresee a reason for the city to improve this or use this?
Jonathan Scott, Transportation Planning. We didn't see any use. And I looked it over. I didn't look like no one else was using it. or wanted to use it, so we didn't have any objections on this one either.
You don't anticipate the city ever has any public need to use this alley?
Not from a transportation standpoint, no.
Thank you.
Very good. Any other questions or comments? And we already heard in regards to the petitioner not being present by camera. Is there anybody in the public that wishes to speak on item number 31?
No one has registered to speak on this item.
All right. And Convention Center?
Eileen Rosario, Planning and Development. There is no one here to speak on this item. Thank you.
Very good. Anything else from council? If not, I'll ask for a motion to close.
Close.
We have motion closed from Councilman Good, second from Councilmember Dingfelder. Is there any objection to close the public hearing for item number 31? Hearing none by unanimous consent, the public hearing is now closed. Who would like to read item number 31? Councilman Citro?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ordinance being presented for first reading and consideration on file number VAC 20-18. An ordinance vacating, closing, discontinuing, and abandoning a portion of the right-of-way alleyway located at South Adelia Street, north of Ivy Street, east of Matanzas Avenue, and west of Lincoln Avenue, within the plat of John H. Drew's first extension of Northwest Tampa, a subdivision of the city of Tampa, Hillsborough County, Florida, as more fully described in section 1 hereof, subject to a certain easement, reservations, covenant, conditions, and restrictions as more particularly set forth herein, providing an effective date.
Second from Councilman Miranda. Roll call vote.
Good.
Yes.
Citro,
Yes.
Miranda,
Yes.
Dingfelder,
Yes.
Maniscalco,
Yes.
Vieira, and Carlson.
No.
Motion carried with Carlson voting no and Vieira being absent. Second reading and adoption will be held on November 19th at 9:30 a.m.
Mr. Chairman, may I talk to Mr. Diaz for a minute?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Diaz, are you still on the line?
Yes, sir.
And you heard this hearing and you heard the council's vote, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, you know this is not approved yet. There is a second reading and an adoption public hearing that is set for November 19th at 9:30 a.m. And that is the time that council moves forward with an adoption. That's when it gets approved. So I just want to bring that to your attention. And if you wish to participate at that hearing, sir, and maybe staff can advise you, but if you go onto the city council's webpage at tampagov.net /city-council, you'll be able to see how you can register, and you have that opportunity to use the device at the Tampa Convention Center or come to the Tampa Convention Center on the 19th, or use a laptop or a tablet or a desktop. You understand that, sir? So you can be able to participate if you want to?
Yes, sir. Is this typical that it's a two-phase type approval?
Yes, it is, sir. Yes, it is, sir. The statute requires 2 readings, and the city of Tampa requires 2 public hearings.
All right. Thank you, sir. Understood.
Thank you.
Wonderful. We now go to the last item of the night. Item number 30, and if the petitioner is able to turn the camera on, and we can swear everybody in.
Yes, this is Francisco Otero Castillo. I'm sorry, and I apologize. I was on an Apple, had to switch to my HP. I apologize.
No problem. All right, raise your right hand. We'll swear everybody in.
Do you swear or affirm you would tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. And the clerk's office did not receive any written comments on this item.
Thank you very much. Councilman Dick.
Yeah, just a point of order. I need to.
Oh, I just turned us off. How do I get us back on?
Can you hear me?
Hello?
Yes.
Okay. This looks to be fairly close to the corner of Maine and Armenia. Barbara, how
Yes.
far away?
Let me look and see if I can figure that out. My map
This
is.
is about
I got Palmetto Cherry
About
Pine.
5 or 6 blocks south, John.
Yeah, it's one.
North, I mean, north.
It's 4 blocks. It's like 5 blocks north of Maine.
Okay, I was worried about our physical conflict. Thank you.
You're not in the notice area, so
That's
beyond.
somebody else might have got the mail, so I just wanted to make sure.
Yep. Go ahead.
Okay, well, we're having a little bit of technical difficulty with our presentation, but I'll start. And that one. Okay, there we go. Now I can get rid of that one.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, hold on. Okay, so this is a request to vacate an alley in West Tampa. It's located south of Cherry Street, north of Pine Street, and runs between Tampania and Armenia. The petitioner's probably, there's 2 applicants, one on either side of the alley on Armenia.
Could you make that full screen, please? Ms. Lynch, the lower right button.
I'm learning this, so I'm just, Ron's gonna help me out.
Click that slideshow icon.
Yeah, there we go. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so the petitioner's property is in red, and the applicants are 2206 North Armenia and 2214 North Armenia. And the property of the applicants is in red, and the alley to be vacated is in yellow. That's the alley. So let me go to the next slide. So I just want to show you a quick graphic. This alley originally went through the whole block east to west. And then many, many years ago, this portion here was vacated and it was turned into a T-shaped alley for the school board. And then later on, this portion to the south of the T was vacated, and we have this oddly shaped L-shaped alley. So, and this is the original plat. So you can see all the alleys ran east to west in there. So this is the alleyway looking west from Armenia Avenue. At the time I took the pictures, they're under construction. So I believe this was for the construction of this, the applicant's property here. So it's fenced at this point, but I believe it was open prior to that. And this is looking through the fence, and you can see fences further back that I believe have been erected by the residents. And so it doesn't really go through at this point. And this is the north end of the alley looking south on Cherry Street, where the T-shape went north. And you can see this is the alleys involved in this parking lot that's at the west end. And this is the applicant's property looking west from Armenia Avenue. And you can see that they have an access off of Pine Street now. And this is the other applicant's property looking west from Armenia Avenue, and they have an access off of Cherry Street. The alley is fenced at both ends by chain link, and part of it was dirt and part of it's involved in a parking lot. The staff has no objection. We need easements for wastewater and Frontier, and there is a special condition from urban planning that they wanted if this is approved, that the apron leading into the alley from Armenia be removed.
Thank you very much. All right. Mr. Otero Cosillo.
Yes, good evening. Yes, Francisco Otero Cosillo, 13014 North Del Mabry Highway. And just to reiterate what Barbara said, that the alley started on North Armenia, and then at one time it went all the way through North Tampania, but I guess the school board of Hillsborough County owns the parking lot now. So, and all the houses abutting the alley, seeing that, they enclosed their alleyway. So the alley hasn't been used for a very long time. And we have no problems meeting those conditions Barbara had mentioned about the apron. And the reason for the vacating is my 2 clients, Castellano Air Conditioning and Europa Stone, they've owned those properties for a very long time, and they had to fence it in because of a lot of times, a lot of vagrancies will, they had problems with alcohol, people going there at night and the next morning waking up with beer bottles everywhere. So it's been fenced in for a very long time. So as you can see, the alley hasn't been used for a very long time. So that concludes my presentation.
Any questions for the gentleman? All right. Do we have anybody in the public that wishes to speak on this item, item number 30?
No one has registered to speak on this item.
Do we have anybody at the convention center?
Eileen Rosario, Planning and Development. There is no one here to speak on this item. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions or comments from council before I ask for a motion to close?
Well, I just wanted to note, since I'm doing trivia tonight, if you look at the McFarland map, Barbara, I don't know if you ever noticed this.
What?
On the McFarland map, Armenia is spelled Armina, Armina. I don't know if you ever noticed that, Charlie.
Nope, I didn't notice that.
So maybe it's been mispronounced for like 100 years. It says Armina.
Hard spelled.
Well, please don't ask to change the signage on the street.
No.
Yeah, I remember. I wasn't even on council. I remember that. La Septima, people crying.
I got a sign that cost me $600 in the office.
That's right. You have the piece. So very good. Anything else? Did we get a motion to close already?
So moved.
I'll move, Mr. Chairman.
Motion from Councilman Dingfelder, second from Councilman Miranda. Do we have any objection? Hearing none by unanimous consent, the public hearing is closed. Who wishes to read item number 30, the last item of the night?
I'll read it, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
Item number 30, file number VAC 20-11, ordinance being presented for first reading consideration. An ordinance vacating, closing, discontinuing, and abandoning a portion of the right-of-way alleyway located south of Cherry Street, north of Pine Street, east of Campania Avenue, west of Armenia Avenue, within the platted of McFarland addition to West Tampa subdivision in the city of Tampa, Hillsborough County, Florida. As more fully described in section 1 thereof, subject to certain easements, reservations, covenants, conditions, and restrictions, as more particularly set forth, providing an effective date.
We have a motion from Councilman Miranda, second from Councilman Citro, I believe. Roll call vote.
Miranda,
Yes.
Dingfelder,
Yes.
Carlson,
No.
Maniscalco,
Yes.
Boots,
Yes.
Vieira, and Citro.
Yes.
Motion carried with Carlson voting no, Vieira being absent. Second reading and adoption will be held on November 19th at 9:30 a.m.
Very good. Thank you very much, Mr. Otero Cosillo. You're good for tonight. Thank you very much.
Hey, guys, have a good night.
All right. That settles the agenda. However, I have a feeling there's a lot of new business. Councilman Miranda, do you have anything for new business?
No, sir, I do not. I'm the odd couple here.
All right, Councilman Citro.
I do. Thank you very much, Chair. First of all, I'm requesting an in-person staff report on November 17th concerning an audit that was done by the city audit concerning Tampa Fire Rescue. And I would like for, excuse me, Fleet Management, a representative from Fleet Management, Union Local 754, and Chief LaCicero to appear to discuss this audit.
We have a motion from Councilman Citro, second
That
from.
date again, please.
I move for an in-person staff report.
What day?
An audit that was done by the Office of the City Tampa Auditor, concerning Tampa Fire Rescue. And in that staff, I would like someone from Fleet Management, Fire Local 754, and Chief LaCicero.
And the date you say, sir, I just want to be clear for the record.
November 17th?
I don't believe we have a meeting on the 17th. Do you mean the 19th of November? Or is
Yes,
it-
I'm sorry. Yes, you're correct. The 19th.
Okay, thank you.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Motion from Councilman Citro. Do we have a second?
Second.
From Councilmember Miranda, any objection to the motion? Hearing none by unanimous consent, the motion passes. Anything else, Councilmember Citro?
Yes, one more. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I move to present a commendation to the most worshipful Grand Master of the most worshipful Grand Lodge of Free and Accepted Masons off-site when he appears in Tampa, November 21st.
Are you a past, what is it, a worshipful master? Is that correct?
Most worshipful Grand Master.
That's
Grandmaster, get it right, Grandmaster, sir.
Does
Very
that,
good. Do we have a second to the motion?
does that mean we have to convert or what, Jeff?
No, it does not, Councilman.
Okay, thank you.
Everybody is invited. However, I would like my fraternal brother, Councilman Goods, to accompany me.
Just get with Sonia, we'll make it happen.
All right. Do we have a second to the motion?
Second.
Second, Councilman Dingfelder. Any objection to the motion? Hearing none. The motion passes by unanimous consent. Anything else, Councilman Citro?
Go Rays.
Excellent. Councilman Carlson, do you have anything for new business?
No, sir. Thank you.
Councilman Dingfelder, do you have anything for new business? Dingfelder.
Froze?
Councilman Goods.
Yeah, yes, Mr. Chairman, and again, thank you for your leadership tonight. Meeting went very smooth tonight, sir. As you recall, on October 22nd, 2020, I made a motion for accommodation to be given to young Mrs. Vivian Anderson for the work she did as moving our city forward as an all-inclusive with our signage and represent deals with men at work and gender equity.
Sorry about it. How am I going to speak?
We found a date. I'd like to give that presentation to her virtually on 11/5 of 2020, be at her school as a call-in and give her that accommodation and refer to council.
All right, we have a motion from Councilmember Goods. Do we have a second? Do we have a second? Second from Councilmember Carlson. Is there any, Mr. Shelby?
Oh, is this under commendations during the meeting?
Yes, sir.
Councilman?
Okay, yes, sir.
Motion from Councilmember Goods, second from Councilmember Carlson. Is there any objection to the motion? Hearing none by unanimous consent, the motion passes unanimously. Anything else, Councilmember Goods?
Yes, sir. Final for the evening, sir. I'd like the solid waste director to report in person or the staff report in reference to the fleet, in reference to the alleyways. A lot of the drivers have been complaining that they've been disciplined in reference to going to a lot of the alleyways that are not clean and damaging some of the vehicles, and they've been disciplined. So I'd like to find out what's going on with that, and particularly in the South Tampa area that the drivers are complaining about. So if I can get an in-person report from our solid waste director on the issues in reference to those alleyways.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilman Goods, second from Councilmember.
And not a written report, but an in-person report is
Yes, sir.
what you're asking for?
Yes, sir.
And what date did you have for that?
I think it should only take them a couple of weeks, so I guess they will probably give them till, my sheet was in November the 19th, sir?
We have 19th in the month of November for a regular council meeting.
I believe, I will just say, just so you know, Council, November is starting to fill up tremendously. If this is time sensitive, certainly, but just remember that.
What time, sir? If we're full, I can go to December if it's full.
That would be fine if that's possible.
What's the earliest in December?
December 3rd.
December 3rd.
Yep.
That'll be fine, sir.
We have a motion from Councilmember Goods. Do we have a second? Second from Councilmember Citro. Is there any objection to the motion? Hearing none, by unanimous consent, the motion passes. Anything else, sir?
That's it, sir. Thank you.
Councilman Dingfelder, you froze there for a second, so we're going to go back to you.
I was just pretending I went like this.
That's what we thought, but, you know.
Okay, I've got two things. So at the corner of McDill, at the corner of Henderson and Azeel in South Tampa, there has been a bank there for a long time, and they recently built a large parking garage. And with all due respect, it's like the most hideous structure I've ever seen, and it comes butting up against the roadway. in all directions without any aesthetics or anything. It's just like a concrete parking garage. It's sort of shocking.
Which one is this, sir? Where is this?
It's at the corner of Henderson and Azeel. I'm not going to mention the bank's name, but anyway, what I'd like to do is get a report from staff. It appears that it's really close to the street and to the sidewalks in terms of setbacks and that sort of thing. And so I'd like to get a report from staff. I'll give them, there's no urgency, it's already built. So a report from staff, let's say in January at a regular meeting.
Is this the brand new one that they just completed? Okay, I know which one. Okay, all right. At the end of January, let me look at the calendar. You have the 14th of January is the one regular meeting. If not, it's CRA and workshop. So would 14th of January work?
But we can do February. I think that January meeting was getting busy.
February 4th?
That'd be great.
All right.
So February 4th, just a brief staff report from growth management on, on that structure. Did it require any exceptions or variances or what have you? And any aesthetic comments they might have as well. So.
Very good. We have a motion from Councilman Dingfelder. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second from Councilmember Miranda. Is there any objection to the motion? Hearing no objection, and by unanimous consent, the motion passes. Anything else, Councilman Dingfelder?
Yeah, on a sad note, I think all of council heard about the passing of Gary Horwood about a week ago. He'd been 31 years with the city in our wastewater plant. Hardworking guy. Was taken too young at the age of 57. So I'd like, without any more details, I'd like us to, my office will prepare a commendation and we'll present it to his family at whatever time is appropriate.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilmember Dingfelder, a second from Councilmember Miranda. Any objection to the motion? Hearing none, by unanimous consent, the motion passes. And Councilman Dingfelder, I appreciate you bringing that up. A beloved member of the Tampa family here with the city, many years of service, and our heartfelt condolences to the family during this time. Anything else?
Absolutely. Sir? I think the funeral's tomorrow.
Yes.
I can't make it, but yeah, definitely our thoughts and prayers are to the Horwood family. That's it for tonight. And Mr. Chairman, great job. We're done by 7:30 or something.
Hey, we got lucky tonight. We got lucky. So it was an interesting day meeting. Of course, one of the longest continuous meetings I've had, but a lot was learned and digested and much to reflect upon. I have nothing for new business. Having said that, can I get a motion to receive and file? Motion to receive and file from Councilman Miranda. Do we have a second? Second from Councilmember Goods. Any objection? Hearing no objection, by unanimous consent, we have moved to receive and file. We are adjourned. Thank you very much. There is no meeting next Thursday. So remember, meetings from now on will be hybrid with a physical quorum at the Tampa Convention Center, and that begins November 5th after Election Day. So when we see each other, it'll be a whole different world. Thank you very much. Yes.
Mr. Chairman, just one thing is I want to make sure that every council member calls Mr. Shelby at least once or twice a day during this period that he thinks he's otherwise off. So
let's take a breather.
He's never off. He's never off.
No.
No, all right. Enjoy yourselves, gentlemen.
Very good. We are adjourned. Good night, everyone.
Good night.